I'm going to go out on a whim and say that you guys watching have a car. And I'm going to assume that probably that car has an internal combustion engine, unless you have one of those like BYD, like Chinese electric cars, or just like any EV. And those internal combustion engines are prone to breaking, but they don't have to. This is the good news. They don't have to. So today we are talking about habits that you may be doing that absolutely destroy your engine either instantly or over time. If you're an experienced like pro mechanic F1, like I don't want you saying, oh, these are obvious, because you would be surprised. And I think a lot of these are so overlooked by the common person and need to be said. And yeah, as I said, they have insane consequences if you keep doing these habits. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Our first habit we have is driving hard when your car is not fully warmed up. Now in a previous video, I kind of touched on this, but I more talked about how you should let your car warm up before you start driving. And there's actually some debate on that. Whether you should let your car sit for 30 seconds or not is debatable. Some people say you can just go right away. Some people say wait for 30 seconds before you start driving. Well, there's heavy debate on that. What's very clear and obvious is that you should not be flooring and driving your car aggressively until it is fully warmed up. Now, basically, your car operates ideally under a specific temperature range. And when your car is cold, it's not going to be at that temperature range yet. It's going to take some time to get to that full operating temp. That's where you want to be when you're fully revving out your car and all that. So what's the quickest way to get there? Start driving your car. As I said, the jury's still out on if you need to wait that 30 seconds. Most people say you don't. I say, why not, right? You can just set up your CarPlay and put your seatbelt on. It doesn't hurt. But what's most important is that you are not driving your car hard until it is fully warmed up. Simply just be easy on the throttle, take it chill, and don't be aggressive on the gas if you can. Now, probably the easiest and best way to tell if your car is at full operating temp, this is not like scientifically backed. This may not be exactly optimized, but it's the easiest way to tell in my opinion, is just if your coolant gauge is at its center position. That's when I like to start flooring it just to be safe, but you can probably get away with, pushing it a bit before that. Is your car going to completely explode if you floor it while it's cold? No, but it is very bad for your engine if the oil isn't completely warm. And if you're constantly doing this, it's definitely awful for your car. Next up, we have never flooring your car. Now, a lot of people think that it is some sort of cardinal sin to push your car a little bit. This is absolutely wrong. Your car is meant to rev out in its rev range. Now, if you are constantly bouncing off the limiter, just absolutely reckless with the pedal, not good for your car. But it is not bad, and it's actually good for your car to floor it every once in a while. If you're constantly driving like a granny, okay, you're staying super low revs, barely pushing the throttle at all, you'll get carbon buildup in your engine, which if unaddressed could actually cause your engine to seize up. Don't be an absolute speed demon, but definitely don't be afraid to push the revs a bit. In fact, make sure you're doing it at least sometimes to burn off any carbon buildup. If you're always granny driving, stop and please start giving your car some revs every once in a while. Next up, we have never checking your fluids. I'm going to send this straight into rip your car. Now, the two fluids you should be checking very consistently is your oil and your coolant. Your oil is incredibly important as it literally lubricates your engine. All these moving metal grinding parts need lubricant, okay? That should be more than abundantly clear, and also filters out any bad particles. And your coolant, put simply, regulates your engine's temperature so it doesn't overheat. These are incredibly vital components to your car, and they are so simple. So you should always be checking to make sure that you have an appropriate amount of them. However, a lot of people don't. A lot of people think that you need to be some expert pro-level mechanic to be able to check fluids, but I want to break down the stigma, yes, I'm using that word correctly, and tell you that it is so simple. Literally anyone could do it. Let's start with checking your oil. All you got to do, pull out your dipstick, wipe it off with a paper towel. You can find these at a gas station or at your home, I hope. Stick your dipstick back in, pull it out, check the oil level. There should be 2 lines. It should be in between that line. Does it look good? Great. Does the color look normal? Great. Put it back in. Coolant. Literally look at the coolant reservoir. There are 2 lines. If it is within the range of those lines, you are good. That's all it is. It literally takes, I kid you not, 30 seconds for both. It's also a good idea to check your brake fluid every once in a while. You can make a habit of it. Do it every time you fill up with gas, right? Because if you don't and you have a leak, you're running low on oil or coolant, whatever, this could very easily just kill your engine. Check your fluids. It's so easy. Make a habit of it. Next up, we have letting your car idle for a while. Now, opposite of not letting your car warm up, a lot of people will let their car warm up for too long, but in the wrong way. Idling for a while is not going to help your car effectively warm up. The best way, as I said before, to let your car warm up is just to start driving, but drive carefully and lightly. Take it easy. But a lot of people think that they need to let their RPMs drop below 1K or whatever and just let their car sit for 10 to 15 minutes. You don't need to do this. And not only do you not need to do this, this could be bad for your car and cause buildup. And more importantly, just such a waste of gas, okay? For that reason, definitely stop doing this. If you need to defrost your car or warm up your car before you go, that's fine. But if you're idling your car for a while just for the sake of warming it up, you're wasting your time and you don't know what you're doing. Next up, we have lugging your engine. Now, essentially, when you're driving, you're in too low of a gear and your RPMs aren't high enough. When you give your car some gas, you're not going to be able to get up to speed. Your car needs to be in a lower gear and have higher RPMs to actually get going. So what's going to happen happen is you're going to get what's called lugging. You probably know what it feels like. And it's when you're pressing on the gas, but you're not going anywhere. Your car's struggling to get going. This is awful for your car. Lugging leads to high cylinder temperature and pressure. It's just terrible for your engine overall. And it's just so easy to downshift, get into lower gear so you have more power to work with. Next up, we have doing infrequent oil changes. Now, oil, like I said before, it lubricates your engine and removes debris and contaminants from your engine while it's operating. This is very important. And simply put, when your oil gets old, it is less effective at doing these things. It's the simplest way to put it. So if you like your engine to always be properly lubricated and cleaned, I'd highly recommend doing oil changes. This is extremely basic, but so many people don't understand why you change your oil. Additionally, to filter out contaminants, you have your oil filter. Also do that every time you change your oil. Just get these done, okay? If you don't, the consequences will not be immediate and they will not be obvious, but over time, heat will build up. You'll get oil sludge build up, and this is absolutely awful for the long-term health of your engine. If you want your engine to last, you have to be on top of your oil changes. I know that's a grass is green statement for so many people, like this whole take, but is so important and so overlooked. The other thing I say is that if you don't have time or space to do the oil changes yourself, there's nothing wrong with just going to a shop quickly to get them done. Don't fall into this like pride trap that, oh, a real man changes his own oil. Yes, it's nice to know how to do an oil and filter change on your car, but if it means you are consistent with your oil changes, just get it done anywhere. Go to the shop, go to Mobile One or like any of those like quick oil change shops and just get it done, okay? If you are not on top of your oil changes, absolutely awful for your car. Next up, we have ignoring fluid leaks. Now, specifically talking about your oil and coolant, but I guess also your brake fluid as well. Now, when you have an oil or coolant leak, you can just top it off as a band-aid fix, but that is what it is. It's a band-aid fix and it is not something you want long-term for your car. If you forget or don't top it off, it will run out. As I said before, if you're not checking your fluids and you run low or run out of one of them, that's probably going to be the death of your engine. So make sure you're on top of these leaks when they arise. Additionally, if you have a brake fluid leak, brake fluid is actually corrosive, so it can cause damage to your car. And overall, fluids are so important for the proper running and maintenance of your car, so please just stay on top of them. Constantly be working to address these leaks. If you don't, definitely rip your car. Next up, we have a subtle one. It's only taking short trips. A lot of people don't really have to drive that much. Well, that is kind of a privilege that you don't have long commutes. It also can be a bad thing because, as I said before, your car operates properly in that full operating temp, which is when your car is fully warmed up. You're constantly just cold starting your car, taking a short jaunt, not letting your car get up to full temp and then stopping. That's not good. This will cause carbon buildup, like I mentioned before, and contaminate your oil. If I want you to take one thing away from this video, is that your car is meant to be operated throughout that rev range, okay? It is good for your engine to be constantly experiencing all sorts of RPMs. So if you're constantly only taking short trips, it's definitely not ideal. Make sure you just take it out on the highway a little bit. Get your car up to full operating temp to burn off that excess carbon so it doesn't build up, and you should be good. Next up, we have ignoring your check engine light. I've talked about this before, but it should be pretty obvious what the issue is. You have one check engine light, you don't have two, you don't have three, you don't have four, you don't have five, you have one. So if it's illuminated, you should know why. And the issue is, even if you know why, like, oh, it turned on because of a sensor, if you ignore that and another issue comes on, as I said, you only have one. You won't know what the other issue is unless you are constantly scanning and checking your codes. If you do this, it's not ideal. You can just clear codes if you know they're not going to be a big deal, but it's best to address the check engine light so that it's off. Don't ignore it. Next up, we have turning off your car immediately after driving. This is not bad at all. A lot of people like to say that is a bad thing and that you need to let your car cool down by letting it idle at the end of your trip. That is complete nonsense. Unless you have literally just raced your turbocharged car, there is no reason to be doing this. Your car will cool itself down when it is off. That should be pretty intuitive. Now, I'm willing to go out on a whim and say that not many of you race your cars. It is pretty much just a negligible edge case. Don't worry about cooling off your car. When you park, turn it off, go inside, your car will cool itself down. Finally, we have using the wrong octane gas for your car. If you buy that BMW that requires 91, use 91 gas, okay? It's not a fraud, it's not a hoax, it's not some collaboration between Shell Corporation, the Republican Party, and like the Uzbekistan government. It's not some stupid conspiracy, okay? It is something you need to do. If you're constantly using 87 on a car that is tuned for 91, engine knock is on its way and it will knock on your door. Dude, I gotta stop filming. I gotta wrap this up. Look, please use the proper octane gas. If you buy a luxury car, be prepared for all the expenses. That includes 91 gas. And if you don't, we'll end this off with awful for your car. Just please use the correct octane. Suggest video ideas down below. I always listen to them. See you in the next one. Peace.